What's up, ladies, gents, and everyone in between? This is Shoebooty Sports coming at you Wednesday night. I'm your host, Grandpa, on this screen. That's Bradley Brown on the other. Say what's up, Brad.
How's it going?
It's going all right, all things considered. We got a lot of stuff to talk about: NBA playoffs, NFL draft, and then some. I got the Warriors Rockets game five on as I speak. But anyway, before we get to all that, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoebooty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers five different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all five of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track it with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And you can find us, Shoebooty Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at Shoebooty Sports. All right. So, Rockets, Warriors, like I said, game five on. Golden State up 3-1. Golden State, the seven seed. Houston, the two seed. We didn't make any picks for the playoffs, or at least as far as the early round series goes. Uh, would you have would you have picked Houston to beat Golden State?
No, I don't think so. But
Say, I think I would have picked Golden State to win this.
Mm.
But
I'd say
they're up
Jimmy,
three
they've
one, but
looked pretty
they're
good since Jimmy Butler joined up. So
yeah, well they're down 15 right now, but they are up 3-1 in the series. So I would still pick. I think I would have said probably Golden State in six, and it looks like that might be the case. Hey, Akeem Olajuwon is there. Cool to see the camera on him every so often. Um, but yeah, NBA playoffs underway. What's the Lakers Wolves count at this point? Is it 3-1?
I want to say it's 3-1 as well.
We're so up to date on our sports.
Yeah, it's 3-1.
Okay, don't they play tonight, right?
They play tonight at 9 o'clock, so nice and early game for us.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say
definitely won't stick around for the end of that one.
no, I won't either. Um, it's in LA. I think LA or I think the Lakers will probably win tonight. I don't think they come back from 3-1. I think
No.
Minnesota's gonna oust them. Good for them. It's a good story that way. Um, uh, I don't know. It would have been cool to see Lakers and Warriors in the playoffs. That's a more interesting matchup to me than Wolves and whoever. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's at least interesting to. It's interesting so far. Playoff basketball is fun. It's a long postseason, but it's I don't know. I enjoy it. I enjoy the NBA playoffs. I don't get to watch. I haven't gotten to watch a lot of it yet, but and probably won't until another week and a half. But yeah, it's interesting so far. I'm intrigued. Interesting storylines going around. What odds do you give the Lakers to come back and beat the Warriors? Do you give them any chance at all?
And you got to give them a chance.
Do
You
you?
can't say that it's completely over. I mean, I didn't say how big of a chance. I mean, you can give them like a 5% chance.
I'll go higher. I'll give them a 10% chance. I don't think
There
they
you
come
go.
back and get it done though. LeBron's come back from 3-1 before in a more meaningful round of the playoffs, but I don't see it happening at in 2025, despite how great he's been at his age, at 40 years old. Yeah, I got the Warriors, or excuse, well, I do. I got the Warriors in six, but I got the Wolves in six also. That's my prediction for that. Before we talk more basketball, let's discuss the NFL draft. That, of course, went on last week. um, we talked about it a little bit on the show last week. Of course, Cam Ward went number one. Travis Hunter Jags traded. We knew he'd go high, top three. Jags traded up to go get him. How do we feel about that, or how do you feel about that?
I mean, it's a big splash move. I mean, it's something to get something to get butts in seats during the season. Um, I don't know. Maybe they gave up too much to move up to get him. But I don't know because how many? They just only moved up what, 4 spots?
Well, I think they had the fifth pick, right, and they moved up to
Or-
two,
Okay, yeah,
and they only swapped picks and gave up I think a second and a fourth. I could be wrong on that, but no additional first round picks, which to me that's not bad. Uh,
I thought there
I,
were some future picks in the mix too.
I don't think any of them were first round picks though. I think that's what it was, and
Well, that's yeah. It's not.
to,
Yeah,
to
if that's the case. They weren't stretching too far then.
yeah,
Mm.
they didn't overpay to get him. It wasn't like the Redskins trading up to get RG3, where they just traded the farm. It felt like
Yeah.
it wasn't that, and a playmaker like Travis Hunter, I don't know, probably worth that if you're looking to make a splash, especially if you have a. I didn't want to see him go to the Browns. I did not want to see Travis Hunter go to the Browns, even though
No,
the Jags front office is as incompetent to me as Cleveland's. I would still rather see Trevor Lawrence throwing him the ball than whoever they're going to have in Cleveland.
that and yeah, he'd have to live. He'd have to live in Cleveland too. I mean, I think Jacksonville would be a lot better place to live than Cleveland, especially with the weather wise.
Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, the only reason I like it for if I'm Travis Hunter is I got Trevor Lawrence. I got Trevor Lawrence rather than like I said whoever it's going to be for Cleveland, and we can just go straight into that. Uh, who, who's it going to be in Cleveland? Who's even the guy right now? I guess it's going to be
It's going to be Flacco. It's Flacco right now.
is it? I was like I didn't even know if
Yeah,
he was on the
it's
roster.
yeah. They signed an extension, a 1 year extension for him. So
Smart. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, that's smart if you're Cleveland. I don't say that a lot about the Browns organization, but that's smart
he's
if you're them.
he's definitely starting game one, I would think.
I don't know that Deshaun Watson plays next year. Or at least will be a
Yeah,
long time before he attempts to.
I doubt he. Yeah, I doubt he attempts to play next season.
Even then, you've got, uh, of course, they're the team that drafted Shedeur Sanders, fifth round. That's obviously the talk of the draft, and surprising, no matter what you think of the guy. It's a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
surprising.
I
Uh,
thought if like he slipped, it would be like to round 2 or 3, not to round 5.
thought it would be
So
around
definitely
10.
didn't expect him to be there. On Saturday.
I thought the two guys that got picked ahead of him, or no, let me put it this way, because there were more than that. Um, I thought the two guys picked in the first round were the best quarterbacks in the draft. Cam Ward, number one overall. I guess I agree with that. I really like Jackson Dart. I think that's a great get for the Giants. Unfortunately, it's this Giants front office putting together the team, so that makes me nervous for him, Jackson Dart. But he would have been my second. He would have been my number two quarterback off the board. Jackson Dart. I saw what he did to our Razorbacks and to other teams throughout the SEC. Just lit it up at Ole Miss. You look at his numbers at Ole Miss; they're all time numbers. They're all time collegiate
Mhm.
numbers, win loss records. Uh, Amazing college career. Can fling it all over the field, make every throw. Has a swagger about him, uh, but a confident swagger, not a Johnny Manziel swagger, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Franchise type of player, and I really like that move. If I'm a Giants fan, he's who I would have taken. I would have definitely taken him over Shedeur Sanders. Also, I didn't think Shedeur was the number two quarterback on the board, but I did think he was the number three quarterback on the board. I know Cleveland took Dylan Gabriel. I don't even know what round, but the idea obviously is, well, one of these two will hopefully pan out, and I like Dylan Gabriel. I like what he did at Oregon. I don't know that he'll be a good pro. Well, time will
Yeah.
tell. But I guess that's Cleveland's thought is, well, hopefully one of these two will pan out, and we're going to find out one way or another. But Shedeur going all the way to round five, shocking. It shocking. I don't
Then
know.
he then he had to deal with that BS with the Falcons' son or coach's son calling him,
Who's
like
in like
prank calling him.
who's in an Ole Miss frat, isn't that right?
Yeah. The video I seen, yeah, had Ole Miss. One of them was wearing Ole Miss gear. So
So did you watch the video? I couldn't even watch the video because it made me so kind of embarrassed because I was like, that they really did that.
I yeah, I didn't listen to it. I just seen it and read like while reading the article. So
Yeah, it's what are your thoughts on that? Just the prank call itself.
uh man, if you were like an 8-year-old kid, maybe. But no, this is I don't know. It's dirty, man. It's cheap. You're taking away from this dude's moment. Like, I don't know. That's a legit serious situation. That's like you're only you bought that phone and only certain people have that number. You should not have to deal with that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty lousy. I thought it was a pretty lousy thing for them to do. Um, as I was embarrassed for them that they did that. Um, like they should legitimately be ashamed of themselves. Like it's not funny.
And there was three of them, man. Like between three of them, none of them had the thought like, "Hey, this might not be okay." You had the person recording, then you had the person sitting beside the kid making the phone call.
Yeah.
Like, and probably multiple other people off camera. That thought should have entered somebody's head, but
That's the thing too. Though, like when you get a bunch of guys around each other, like they'll discuss something among themselves that they think would be funny,
they're
and
probably not sober.
exactly. But it's usually like the discussion, and like the discussion would be funny, but following through and acting it out is not funny. And like that was, uh, I'd say, I don't know, cheap laughs because it's something that only a kid would find funny.
I think it's something that only the people like in that room recording that video found funny.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd agree with that.
I don't think anybody else found it funny at all.
Yeah,
So
it was very cringe to me. Like I said, I couldn't even watch the video because I was so embarrassed for them, ashamed for them. It was, I don't know, it just made me, you don't feel good after watching something like that. I was like, I'm not going to watch that. Um,
no.
so I didn't. I got the message. I understood what was happening just based on the headline and their smiling and snickering of the little bit that I saw. Um, I think Barstool posted about it or something. It reminds me of kind of what you said. They were the only people that thought it was funny. It reminds me of when Arkansas beat Ole Miss in football. Obviously, not this past year, but the season before that. And the drunk, I had to be drunk. I hope, you know, hope he's not that stupid sober. The guy that's the Arkansas fan who was clearly a student ran down and grabbed the Ole Miss player's helmet and then took off into the stands with it and ran away with it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And there was video of it. And there were some jackasses that were saying it was funny, but it wasn't. I was like, that kid and you all right now in these comments are the only people that think this is funny. I was extremely embarrassed to be a Razorback fan after watching that video. It was embarrassing. Reminds me of that in a sense. Just immature, cheap laughs. Like not even like that's not funny. Like you're not funny. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Either
But
way, I don't know. I
they
came
and
away.
apparently he did it to more than Shedeur. Like there's up to like 10 players who apparently he did this to. And so
Yeah,
far, the league NFL's handed down $350,000 fine to the Falcons organization,
yeah.
like
Something
just
needs to
for
happen.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something needs to happen to at least
If
try
it's
to.
up to 10 people, man, they need to. I think they need to pay a little bit more.
Yeah, that's. I didn't realize it was that many. I don't. Like I said, I don't know how they got the number. Obviously, he's connected to somebody within the Falcons organization. It's somebody's kid, right?
Yeah, it's an assistant coach's kid, and he passed by the printed list of phone numbers for the prospects that his dad had from an office meeting. And yeah, and he snagged a couple. I think he took a screenshot of the whole page that Sanders was on, and yeah, took it back to the frat house.
Yeah. Hopefully, this is a lesson learned to that kid. Um, and he'll. Sometimes you got to screw up to wake up, and this is a really stupid thing for him to do. But I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, this won't become a pattern. Hopefully, he's like, yeah, I screwed up, shouldn't have done that, and fix himself moving forward. That's embarrassing to.
Yeah,
But
and you videotaped it, like
yeah, so even at my dumbest of moments, and I've done some pretty dumb things in my life myself,
same.
I would have never thought that was a good idea.
No,
No, no. And at the very least to record it. Like even then I was like, no, we don't need any evidence of this. Even at my
no.
dumbest of moments, I'd have been like, yeah, we definitely don't need evidence. So we don't have to talk about that anymore. I just wanted to touch up on it. It was a lousy thing for them to do, and they should be
No.
ashamed of. But Shedeur going all the way, dropping all the way to the fifth round is wild still. The guy
Wild.
can play quarterback. He played
Yeah.
well. I mean, Colorado was terrible in the bowl game, but they had a really good season. Look at Shedeur's numbers all 4 years. Solid numbers. Had no protection at Colorado. Tough kid. Can make the throws. Has a high IQ as far as quarterback play goes. Going all the way to the fifth round is wild for a guy that has an arrogance about him. It's not like he's a bad kid. Um, people
He
are
handled it
posting,
good though.
yeah, people were posting videos of I wonder why being sarcastic. The signs were there of why he dropped all the why teams don't see him as a leader. And one of the videos was his brother Shiloh getting an interception, and he's celebrating with his teammates. And I guess the opposing team's ball boy goes and just knocks the ball out of his hand, and Shedeur sticks up for his brother, like gets in the guy's face a little bit. I was like, I'd do the same thing if the guy
Yeah.
did that to one my teammate, two my brother. Yeah, I'm gonna do something about that.
Yeah.
I don't get the hate. I understand you don't like the arrogance. I can understand you don't like the flashiness he has that he plays with, cockiness, I guess you could say. But it's not like his dad lacked any of that. People also love Dion for whatever reason. At least from what I could tell as a kid watching him play football and baseball, I don't understand this level of rooting against this guy. Don't understand it. I could say that with guys too. Like this isn't the first time we've seen this. Like look at what like Cam Newton for example. Cam Newton, LeBron, those two just pop into my head as athletes that have gotten an unusually high level of vitriol thrown at them from just fans that are rooting against them. It's just strange to me to be that invested against wanting to see a player fail. Does that make
It
sense?
it does. But yeah, I don't get rooting against a certain player. Like, yeah, I don't know. But
Well, you can not like him. That's fine, but it gets extreme with like those three in particular, and like Shedeur is on. We just look at this prank phone call. Why do that? Why do that? Um, I don't know. It's weird to me. I'm not that invested against or in another player in general, whether I'm for or against him, but certainly not against him. That's just weird to me. Like you don't have enough things going on in your life if that's a concern to you. Just my 2 cents on it. Weird. Um, but any team come away out of the draft that you I don't know thought won the draft or had a really good draft. I didn't pay that close attention to it.
I didn't either. I just paid attention to where some Hogs players went to. Landon Jackson, I believe, got drafted third round with the Bills.
Mhm.
That'll be pretty good to see. Pretty cool to see on Sundays. TeSlaa, what did he signed with? He was undrafted free agent.
No, 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 no. Third round pick with the Lions.
Oh, was he?
Isaac TeSlaa was a third round pick with Detroit.
Oh, I read the headlines and just assumed it was undrafted. I just seen
Probably
the
thought.
yeah, the headline was, signs with Detroit. And I'm like, okay, he was undrafted. Dang, good for him. Nice.
You might want to fact check me on that, but I believe he was a third round pick by Detroit, which shocks me because he wasn't that good of a player. He was a nice player, but he wasn't like a standout for Arkansas. I mean, he
Yeah,
made
he had
some
the
plays.
speed. Where did Armstrong go?
I don't know. He would have been my choice over.
He would have been my choice, man. He caught everything. It's like,
Yeah, without him, we like Talon had really nobody else to throw to. Like I said, TeSlaa made some plays, but no, Armstrong was the guy clearly. Landon Jackson, that will be fun to watch on Sundays for Buffalo. Getting drafted by one a contender and two, you're a really good player in your own right. He's definitely set up
yeah.
to succeed. So I was happy to see that pick for him. I would be
Round
interested.
three with the 70th pick.
TeSlaa,
That's yep.
yeah, you said that. I was like, no, I think he got drafted third
And then
round.
and then Jackson followed him up 2 picks later with the Bills. So that was back to back. Or almost back to back. Sorry.
So wait, TeSlaa got picked before Landon Jackson. That's wild.
That is wild. Because Jackson was our top prospect, like hands down.
Yeah. Where did Armstrong end up? Do you have that handy?
I'm searching for him right now.
Okay. Well, as you're searching for that, um, how about let's talk about the Diamond Hogs, both softball and baseball a little bit. The baseball team was number one, uh, dropped a series to Georgia, 2-1 to Georgia, so dropped out of the lost that number one spot pretty quick. But now they've lost what, three series in a row?
Yeah, they're sliding pretty bad.
And then you've got number one Texas, the new number one Texas. You've got them this weekend. If you're going to bounce back and make a splash, it would need to be this weekend, I would think.
Yeah, this
Um,
weekend would be prime time to do it. And all games will be televised, so that'll be nice.
okay. Huh, interesting. What is that going to be on? Because I'm what SEC Network, ESPN.
One of them's going to be on ESPN2. The other one's going to be on SEC Network, and it's going to be a completely different station for the third game. So
All right. Well, I'll check out what I can. I'm gonna have to mow at some point this weekend. Yeah, because that's not going to get to happen at least until Saturday, probably. but I don't know. I'll try to catch a game or two. Who do you have coming out of that series? And what's the number of wins? Arkansas or Texas? We'll make a prediction there.
Um, I think Arkansas gets it. They'll split the first two games, and Arkansas will get the rubber match.
Where is it? Is it in
It's
Fayetteville?
it's in Fayetteville.
Okay.
So
I'm
I'd say
gonna
2-1.
I'll do the same thing. I think I'll hope that the Hogs are due and will I don't know wake up and especially like play up to playing number one. And like you said, we'll split the first two games and then win the deciding game three on Sunday. Yeah, I'll say Arkansas 2-1 in the series over number one Texas. But we got to give a shout out to the softball Hogs. Um, I saw a headline where they were as high as number two in some rankings, but there are a billion rankings for these. Everyone I've checked, that Arkansas is like sixth. Like they've, I think that's kind of the average of where they are is ranked sixth nationally, which to me that's pretty special in itself. So either way, um, pretty amazing on their end. I think they're 30-10 overall, something like that. But and
Yeah,
this
off to the best start in program history, and now we're sliding back. So
you're talking about the baseball team.
yeah.
I'm
Oh
gonna say,
yeah, you're talking about softball. Yeah.
yes, I'm gonna say the softball team's
Yeah.
doing just fine right now. So I don't know. Shout out Courtney Deifel and crew. They're on the hill, Bogle Park.
Apparently, we have the
12,
top player in the nation too on the
oh,
Razorback.
she's a stud. I can't remember her name, but she's an absolute unit.
Like Bree or something. I don't know.
Yes, Bree. This is like I said, this is bad. Don't remember her name, but no, she's the best player I've seen, and I've watched a little bit of softball this year. I'm not saying ever, but she's the best player I've seen this year at the collegiate level. Yeah, she can. If you pitch to her, you're just done. I watched her against Florida, and they threw her one strike, and she put it in the seats. Yeah, she doesn't
Okay.
mess around. She's a player. I'm gonna look her up by the way while we're talking about that. Uh, so while I'm doing that, is there anything going on in the golf world, Brad?
Not a whole lot going on in the golf world, except for Morikawa firing his caddy. Or well, I guess he didn't fire him. They decided to part ways, and this is the caddy that had success with Justin Thomas a couple of weeks back, and won that tournament. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone picks him up for this next season. That's about it in the golf world. Um, did you see the altercation with the NBA player's dad and Giannis?
Giannis and Tyrese Halliburton's dad. Yes, I did. I saw Shaq and try to defend the dad's actions. Absolutely
Pac
wrong.
did?
Shaq did absolutely wrong take.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Chuck was calling him an idiot, and
Kendrick Perkins had
Kenny
a good reaction too.
was trying to talk sense into Shaq, and he just wasn't having it. Shaq was just dying on that hill of just defending him essentially, and I just didn't. I was like, no, Shaq is 100% wrong on this one. But I don't know. It's I did see it. It was a dumb thing to do. If you're Tyrese Halliburton's dad, don't do that.
No.
Absolutely out of line. Bree Ellis is the player's name for Arkansas. Okay, I'm able to pull up her stats here. Arkansas's stats are they do it weird. At least I haven't played with it enough to be able to know what to do with it. I'm trying to find her. Guess what Bree Ellis's average is right now?
I don't know. 400.
Batting 491, uh,
Jesus.
24 home runs, 65 RBI.
How
and
many RBI?
65. She's drawn 46 walks. Uh, she's only she's only struck out 11 times. Uh, 54 hits, 57 runs. But yeah, near 500 average. Like I said, best player I've seen in the country. Absolute player. Looks like she's from Auburn. Like she's like from Auburn, Alabama. Went to high school there.
Hmm.
She is a 5'10". No, 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 I'm wrong. She's a 5'10" senior from Houston, Texas. But it says Memorial High School. Maybe she transferred from Auburn. Maybe that's what it's saying. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She was Auburn athletics director honor roll. So she transferred from Auburn to U of A. Happy to have you, Bree Ellis. So keep doing your thing there on the hill. Hogs are 36-10 right now, by the way. Softball Hogs, 12-9 in SEC play. In all the polls I've seen them, they're sixth in the country.
So Andrew Armstrong, bring him back up. He ended up being an undrafted free agent with the Dolphins.
That's a heck of a get if you're Miami. That's a pretty crowded receiving core, though. But I don't know. Armstrong's a really good player, but I mean, Traylon Burks was the best Razorback receiver I've seen, and he's not done anything as a pro.
No.
Like even now, he's been hurt for a lot of it, but even when he's been healthy, he's just another guy on the field. Now he hasn't done anything. Now he plays for Tennessee. He doesn't really have the best guy throwing him the football. Maybe that changes with Cam Ward. I don't know. But I haven't seen anything from Traylon Burks to indicate that he'll be in the league much longer.
Yeah.
Um, but TeSlaa, I mean, for for what he does, there is a spot on that team for him, especially with the way that Detroit flings it and the way that they throw it. I mean,
Yeah.
lining him up in that slot role, he could have a pretty decent career there with Detroit.
He might be worthy of that last pick in your next year's draft. It's just that's a back burner.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's a really good receiving
In
core
a
for.
14 team league, you're probably gonna pick him up. It's your last pick on the back burner.
That's true because I've been in 10-team leagues, so it's yeah. They're those guys like that are going to have a spot on your roster. There's going to be room for them. So
Yes.
yeah, that makes sense. Uh, okay, so I've got the Warriors and Rockets game on. I'm paying attention to it. It looks physical. It looks a little sloppy from what I can tell. Houston up 23 with 144 to go in the half. Of course, Lakers game is after this. Lakers and T Wolves. Yeah, it looks like Houston should get it done tonight. Force a game six. I expect LA to do the same at home. That doesn't mean they will.
Like I say, it wouldn't
Uh,
surprise me if they drop tonight's game. Just head off for Cancun early.
uh, I'm like Chuck. I'm not sending them to Cancun. I'm sending them to Galveston. But dirty water washing up on the shore. People thinking they at the beach.
Down to the Gulf of America.
Shit, we're gonna send them to the Gulf of Mexico. The way they're playing. Uh, but
Uh,
yeah, I don't know. I don't have a dog in the fight. I think it would be funny if Minnesota won, but at the same time, I'd prefer to see a Golden State Lakers matchup. But
be pretty sweet.
yeah, I mean, it's what it is. Um, okay. should we talk? Should we talk some Major League Baseball before we get out of here?
Yeah, let's talk some Major League Baseball.
All right. Well, best record in the league, I believe, is the Mets. I think I heard that. Which they spend enough money, that should be the case. Yeah,
Yes.
21-9. They are 13-1 at home. So, yeah, they've won eight of their last 10. With that division though, where you got the Braves and the Phillies, it's kind of weird to see the Mets at the top, even though payroll wise they should be. Dodgers are right behind them though at 21-10. The Padres have come down to earth, but they're right behind them at 19-11 in the West. The Cubs are still atop the Central, 18-12. Milwaukee is at 500 in the middle of the Central right now. Cincinnati behind Chicago at 16-14. My Cardinals are 13-17, and next to last place, they've lost four, or they've won four of their last six. So it's just frustrating these days to be a Cardinals fan. I'm kind of glad that I have YouTube TV and don't have to see all their games. The one time I made it a point to watch them was Sunday Night Baseball when they played the Red Sox. I was like, oh, the Cardinals are playing prime time. I don't have anything going on tonight. I'm gonna go. I'm made it a point to watch that game, and Boston was up 10 by the second inning. So just completely lost interest in the game. And I was like, I'm reminded of why I'm being pushed. I'm not even leaning. I'm being pushed toward like watching the Phillies more at this point. It's because they've been so frustrating to watch. St. Louis, that is. That's still my prime team. They always will be, but it's frustrating to watch them play, and it annoys me. And I'm a baseball fan, but this is ridiculous.
So, did you see where Suarez hit 4 homers in a single game yesterday?
No, I did not. No, I had a lot going on
Wow.
yesterday, so
Pretty wild. Well, I've just seen the highlight today at lunch, I believe. So, but yeah, pretty wild. 4 homers. That, yeah, crazy. I don't even think I could do that on the PlayStation back in the day.
I mean that's happened before. I mean that's happened. Although it's a heck of an achievement, it's happened before.
Yeah.
I remember it happening multiple times just when I was a kid. There was a guy for the player for the Cardinals. I can't remember his name. Maybe Mark Witten. Am just 30-year-old memory or so popping into my head.
Well,
I know that he hit four in a game. He was a left-handed player. I'm going to double check that to make see if that's correct. Um, Actually, I guess I won't. We're pretty much out of time here. Maybe we'll get back to that next week. I'll forget by then, but we'll see y'all next week. But until then, we're gonna get out of here. I'm Grandpa.
Brother Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.